exclusively here on ESPN. We begin with the top four. Might not be a lot of drama, but where will Clemson land? How much does the loss of Notre Dame without Trevor Lawrence affect them? The Tigers have appeared in the committee's top four in 29 of the last 30 releases. What about the 5 spot? Cincinnati's a perfect 8-0 and has the 4th best chance to reach the playoff according to the All-State playoff predictor. But what about one-loss teams like Florida and Texas A&M? The Gators' loss coming against the Aggies. BYU is the only team in the country that's 9-0, but with only San Diego State remaining on their schedule in the second week of the December schedule. The prospect of adding games is there to improve their resume. What about the Pac-12? Oregon is in the AP top 10, but no team in that conference has played more than 3 games, and some have played as few as just 1. College Football Insider Heather Dinich joining us. You know all about this committee and how they move forward here. What we want opinions here when it comes to the playoff. That's why we're not dealing with the BCS. How will the committee evaluate these uneven resumes tonight?
Well, fair or not, Kevin, the more games a team has played to this point, the more opportunity they have had to impress the selection committee. If there's a 7-1 team sitting there and those 7 wins have been more impressive despite the loss, that will factor into the rankings. Now, if there's a team sitting there that's 3-0 and they got off to a very good start, those 3 wins could be enough in the eye test, as you mentioned, to give them a bit of a boost. So there's no really fair way to distinguish between 7-1 and 3-0, but they're going to do their best. We'll see what they came up with.
All right, now things could get really interesting after the top 4. What questions will the committee answer tonight with that next group of teams here?
Well, I think one of the biggest questions that we will get answered is how highly do they regard Cincinnati? The Bearcats, at least on paper, can make a stronger case than both Texas A&M and Florida for that number 5 spot. They're number 4 in strength of record. They're number 7 in defensive efficiency. When you look at Texas A&M, if they get the head-to-head with the selection committee over Florida because they beat Florida, A&M's only win against a team with a winning record is against Florida. Florida's only win against a team 500 or better is against Georgia. Then you look at what Cincinnati has accomplished, and they could make the case. Will the committee reward them for it?
And, of course, Florida can play this out if they get to the SEC championship game and beat Alabama. So all those answers could be right there in front of us in middle to late December. Heather Dinich with the very latest on the release of the college football playoff rankings, which will be revealed right here on ESPN after SportsCenter. And we are just getting started. More to come. The first college football playoff rankings revealed with Kirk Herbstreit answering tonight's key questions, including what's at stake for the Pac-12.
Developing story on SportsCenter. The Baltimore Ravens canceled practice Tuesday and conducted all meetings virtually after learning of more positive COVID-19 tests this morning. This afternoon, the team placed linebacker Pernell McPhee on reserve COVID-19, that list, and then the Ravens are scheduled to play the Steelers on Thanksgiving night. Adam Schefter joins us now. Adam, right now, this game is still a go for Thanksgiving night, but what are the chances that it could end up being postponed?
Well, Ryan, right now, obviously the game is teetering a little bit because if there are more positive tests out of Baltimore, I'm told that there would be the chance that this game could be postponed. Right now, the league says the game is in place, not going to change. Steelers, Ravens, Thanksgiving night. But let's keep in mind here, over this week, the Ravens have had 5 players test positive. They've had 4 staffers test positive. If there are more positive tests, the league is going to have a difficult decision here to make. But at this current time, the Ravens will be without their running backs, J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram. They will not have Trace McSorley, it looks like. They will not have Pernell McPhee. And so there are major questions here. And the Ravens have done everything they could to prevent the spread of the virus. But as we've seen across the country, the virus has a mind of its own, Ryan.
Absolutely, Adam. Now, I wonder, what do the league and the Ravens need to see by tomorrow for the game to go forward?
If there are no more positive tests, the game will go forward. The league has shown that it is determined to play these games. It's why it established a 16-man practice squad so that each team has flexibility. And we've seen the league do a great job of plowing through the schedule this year. It's determined to do the same thing, especially in a prime time slot on Thanksgiving night. No tests, game's on. More tests, we start to wonder.
Okay, very difficult situation there. Adam Schefter with the latest on the Ravens' positive tests.
Staying in the NFL, Ryan, the Cowboys canceled practice today, and it wasn't COVID-related. Cowboys strength coach Marcus Paul experienced a medical emergency at the team's facility. 54-year-old Paul was immediately treated by Cowboys medical personnel before being transported to a local hospital. According to his family, Paul was undergoing further medical tests. Some background on the 54-year-old Paul. He's in his 21st season as an NFL strength and conditioning coach. He's been a part of 5 Super Bowl championship teams, 3 with the Patriots, 2 with the Giants. Before that, he was an All-American safety at Syracuse, where he still holds the school record for career INTs. And he was taken in the 4th round by the Bears in the 1989 NFL Draft.
Still to come on.
Turkey outfit's the best.
Gotta love it.
Last night, the Rams defense came up big late in a key road win against the Bucs. Tom Brady and his squad, they continue to struggle in prime time on Monday Night Football. The deep ball just not working. Brady 1 for 9, 2 picks on passes thrown at least 15 yards downfield. That's the most incompletions on such passes since 2017 in a Week 1 loss to the Chiefs. The future Hall of Famer also struggled against pressure. He went just 2 for 8 and only 17 yards went under duress last night against the Rams. His completion percentage under pressure this year is just 33%, which is 3rd worst in the league. Bruce Arians today facing an interesting question. Listen to this.
Is it possible that the greatest quarterback of all time, because of what he's dealing with, could have a confidence problem I know you let Ben call his own plays. Would you consider that? I mean, just what do you think's going on with Tom?
Yeah, we have Tom calling a lot of his own. We're picking his own on the sidelines, from the game plan. So I don't think it's a confidence problem whatsoever. It's just still it's not lack of trust. It's just lack of continuity within the offense of the whole picture. We've had the guys open. We just missed them. And there are times when coverage dictates you go to that guy. So when they're there, we need to hit them. We can't have them going off our fingertips, and we can't overthrow them. Other than the deep ball, I think he's getting confused a few times with coverage. That might be causing some inaccurate balls, but I don't see it at all in practice. We're not missing the deep ball in practice, that's for sure. So it's just a matter on Sundays hitting them.
What I love about Bruce, he is very transparent. He does not hold back. Darren Orlovsky joining us. You do the same thing. When you look at Tom Brady and this offense, what do you see on film?
I see a scheme that's trash. The reality is this, Kev. Their scheme and their offense is incredibly dependent on a high level of execution. You look at the great offenses in the NFL right now, like they'll scheme things up to not need your players to be perfect, or they'll use motion to gain matchups because it creates a better player on a lesser player of the defense, and you don't need to be dominant. Or motion. They don't motion a ton. Motion to help, give the defense something to look at to create some easy runs and create some easy throws. They're not demanding. Teams, the great offense of the NFL, they don't demand constant high levels of execution from their offense. The Bucs do. And then if you look at it like this, like coaching, one of your jobs should be to figure out what your team or your offense, individually in a group, doesn't do well. And then you shouldn't do a lot of that. They throw the football down the field way too much when they don't do it well. So there's this mix of really poor scheme and then just demanding their players to be so good for so many snaps throughout the game.
It works in the game plan of the Rams. Throw it deep. It helps us out. We saw that play out.
Exactly.
Right in front of us,
it was a stark contrast last night in coaching.
Big W for the Rams. The NFC playoff picture looks like this right now. The Saints are the only NFC team with 8 wins. They own the head-to-head tiebreaker against the Bucs, having already defeated them twice. And really the key question is, which team do you trust right now in the NFC?
Yeah, and 36 hours ago, I said the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right now, it's the Saints and the Rams. And 2 reasons. One, they both play like competent defense. And defenses are getting better. But I look at their offenses and go, the coaching is so good that they can beat you however you challenge them to beat you. We watched Sean Payton go, okay, Taysom Hill, we're going to actually call the game because we believe that you can play quarterback in the NFL. And he obliged, he answers. And then that defensive line has become dominant. And then we watch Sean McVay just craft this game plan of getting the ball out of Jared Goff's hands because the Tampa Bay defense is so good and picking them apart. But then that defense being dominant again up front. And so the aspect of dominant defensive lines, really well coached and surging defenses, in an offense and a theme, a philosophy that no matter who they're playing, they'll figure out a way to attack your weaknesses and beat you. Saints and the Rams are the two best teams in the NFC.
Saints or Rams? Which one? I said team. You gave me two. Saints or Rams that you trust the most?
I'm going to go with the LA Rams.
Okay. Fresh after watching them last night. Dan's going to be back later to break down Thursday's AFC clash between the Steelers and Ravens.